Hello my lovely students, welcome back to our new science video. Today we're gonna talk about an interesting topic that I bet you've heard about before. Our topic is about fuel. Before talking about fuel, let's talk about the sun. We said before that sun produces what and what energies? Amazing! It produces heat and light energy. We said also that sun consists of two main gases. Can you mention them? Amazing! Sun consists of hydrogen and helium gases. Look at these two pictures in front of you. This is sun and this is the moon. Can you tell me what's the difference between them? As shown, sun looks like a ball of fire. It consists of gases, so it doesn't have hard surface. But moon consists of rocks and it has hard surface. This gas surface of the sun is known as photosphere. But do you know how does the sun produce light and heat? Actually, when the hydrogen and helium gases react together or hit each other at very high temperatures, it produces a huge amount of light and heat energy. So, we said that the sun gives us solar energy. Solar energy, as we said before, consists of heat and light energies. When light and heat travel through space in the form of waves, some of these waves reach the Earth. The solar energy that is produced by the sun contains a type of energy called radiant energy. Look at this picture. Do you know what will happen to the plants when we put them away from the sun for many days? Yup. As we said before, the plant will die. Do you know why? Amazing! Because we said before that plants need the light energy from the sun to make its food. So, without sun, the plant can't grow. From here, we can tell that the sun is important for all living organisms, and without the sun, all living organisms will die. Because all other living organisms, such as human and animals, depend on the plant to take its food and get energy. From here, we said that the sun is the main source of energy and the main source of light and heat. And we said also that the sun starts the energy chains. Do you remember this picture? It shows you how do plants make their food. Can you tell how? Amazing! As we said before, the plants absorb the water and minerals from the soil and light energy from the sun to make sugar, which is stored inside the plants in the form of chemical energy, as we said before. Remember, guys, that chemical energy exists in food, battery, and the fuel. Now let's talk about fuel. Actually, fuel is any substance that produces a huge thermal energy when it's burned. And we have a lot of examples of fuel, such as first one is gasoline or oil. And gasoline is a liquid which is put in the cars to move. Number two is natural gas. Natural gas is the gas used to let the stove work. Number three is wood. Wood is the brown solid part in the trees. Finally, we have coal. And coal is the black rock which is formed from burying the dead plants underground and because of high temperature and pressure. So we have four examples of fuel such as gasoline, natural gas, wood, and coal. So, wood is the oldest fuel that's still used all over the world. While coal, oil, and natural gas, they're extracted or got out from underground. Actually, fuel has many uses, such as warming, cooking, running transportation, generating electricity. In warming, we use coal and wood. In cooking, we could use natural gas, coal, and wood. In running transportation, we could use gasoline and natural gas. And we said before that in many vehicles, the gasoline is burned completely in the engine to produce thermal energy, and it's converted into kinetic energy to let the cars move. The last one generating electricity, and we used gasoline, natural gas, and coal to generate or to produce electricity in power stations. Actually, fuel is one of the most important resources of energy, which are divided into two groups, renewable and non-renewable. Renewable sources of energy, those that continually renew or replace the part that has been consumed or used so they will not run out. They can be replaced after a short period of time, such as water, solar energy, and wind. While non-renewable energy resources, those are the sources or resources of energy that run out when consumed or used and cannot be renewed in a short period, such as renewable energy resources. They are used at a rate faster than they can be replaced, such as coal, natural gas, and oil or gasoline. We have two main types of fuel. First one is biofuel and the second one is fossil fuel. The biofuel is produced from living organisms that can be planted, such as grass, corn, charcoal, and wood. Charcoal is made from wood, and it's one of the most important forms of fuel. We have some types of plants such as grass, corn, and wood chips can be used to make a liquid fuel. The primary or the main source of the biofuel is the sun. Biofuel is considered as a renewable energy resource. Do you know why? Amazing! Because it's continually renewed or replaced after a short period as plants grow. Although biofuel is a renewable energy resource, it should be conserved or rationalized. Do you know why? Using wood as a source of energy requires or needs cutting down trees. And the rapid cutting down trees, which is known as deforestation, causes negative effects on the environment. Therefore, the wood we use should be continuously rationalized so that it will not run out. Many trees grow few centimeters each year, while some trees reach their full height in a period nearly equals the human's lifetime. This means that the growth of trees takes more than one human's lifetime to complete their growth. Now, let's talk about fossil fuel to understand the difference between biofuel and fossil fuel. Fossil fuel is a fuel that is produced from all living organisms, could be plants or animals, that were buried and decomposed over a long period of time. We have three examples of fossil fuel: coal, natural gas, and gasoline or oil. Look at this picture. Differentiate, guys, between the charcoal and the coal. Charcoal is one of the biofuel, but coal is one of the fossil fuel. Now let's talk about the formation of fossil fuel. What do you think? How did oil and natural gas form? Look at this picture to understand how. Oil and natural gas are formed when the remains of marine or aquatic organisms or sea animals were decomposed or broken down under the effect of the Earth's heat and pressure. While the coal, as we said millions times, that coal is formed when the remains of plants were decomposed under the effect of the heat and pressure. Like this picture in front of you. Now, watch this video to understand how did the fossil fuel form.
In the sea, then offshore rigs are used.
So, as I said before, in biofuel, the primary source of the biofuel is the sun. The primary source of the fossil fuel is the sun either. The fossil fuel is considered as a non-renewable energy resource. You know why? Because once it's consumed, it runs out faster than it can be easily renewed or replaced.
Where do we get oil from? The Earth's surface millions of years ago was covered with more water than what it does today, and living in this water were billions of tiny plants and animals. When these plants and animals died, they fell to the ocean floor and piled up. Sand from eroding rocks and mud covered them up. These layers of sand and mud were heavy, and this weight turned them into sedimentary rocks. Heat from the earth and the weight of the rocks caused the dead plants and animals to compress into oil. Once the oil is formed, it slowly moves up through pores in the rocks. However, in some cases, rocks without any pores leave oil trapped underground. Oil is found in different parts of the world. The places where oil is extracted are called oil fields. More than half of the world's oil is produced in the Middle East. To get to the oil, an oil company must first drill down to it. A rig is set up to support the drill. Then a well is drilled into the ground until the oil is reached. If the oil field is in the sea, then offshore rigs are used.
We've learned before that gasoline is a fuel that is made from oil. Look at these two pictures to understand the difference between oil and water. Actually, water has a structure differs from that of oil, where oil is more sticky. Both of them are used to generate energy, especially electric energy, because both of them are from energy resources. Can you remind me which energy resource that water and oil belong? Amazing! Water is a renewable energy resource, while oil or gasoline is a non-renewable energy resource. Although water is a renewable energy resource, but it needs to be conserved or rationalized. Do you know how could we save water? Amazing! By avoiding wasting or polluting water. Number 2, growing plants that don't need large amounts of water for irrigation. Oil either needs or should be conserved by reducing or decreasing the use of private vehicles and using public means of transportation. Can you remember this picture? We have talked before how fossil fuel is used to produce or generate electricity. Can you tell how? I want you to follow the arrow to understand how do we use fossil fuel to generate electricity. First, the coal or any example of fossil fuel enters to the power station. Then, the coal is burned to produce a huge amount of thermal energy. The thermal energy boils the water and changes it into steam. Steam moves in this tube or pipe and turns the turbines to generate electricity. The electricity or electric energy passes through electric wires and it's connected to every home in the town. Let's count together again the steps of generating electricity by using fossil fuel inside the power stations. Number 1 is fuel burns. When we burn the fuel such as coal, oil or natural gas, it produces a huge amount of thermal energy. We use this thermal energy to boil water and change it into steam. As we said that steam moves inside pipes or tubes to turn the turbines and generate electricity. So turbines, by the way, converts or changes the kinetic energy into electric energy. The electric energy passes or flows in the electric wires or cables and reaches all houses and buildings inside the city. Fuel can be used for different purposes, as in the following two energy chains. Number 1, the use of coal in cooking. Starting from the sun, we said that the sun produces light energy which plants need to make its food. After absorbing light energy from the sun, the plant make its own food and store it in form of sugar or chemical energy inside their bodies. After the death of these plants, the plant will be buried underground, and because of heat and pressure, the plant will change into coal. Burning coal gives or produces a huge amount of thermal energy which we use it in cooking. Number 2, the use of coal in generating or producing electricity. Starting from the sun, which is produce light energy, we said that plant absorbs light energy from the sun and change it into chemical energy stored inside their bodies. After the death of these plants, they will be buried underground, and because of heat and pressure, they will change into coal. Actually, we use coal in power station to generate electricity. But what do you think will happen if the electric current being cut off? You can use simple ways. Number 1, we can use candles or fire instead of using electric lamps. Number 2, we can write with pen and paper instead of using computer. Although fossil fuel very important for generating energy, but it has some harms. Number 1, fossil fuels are non-renewable energy resource, so fossil fuel will run out or finish one day. Number 2, burning of coal and oil produces carbon dioxide gas, which causes acid rains and global warming. Acid rains is very dangerous rains because it causes death of trees, decompositions or dissolving of some rocks, bricks of buildings, chemical changes in the structure of lakes causing the death of all living organisms who live there. Number 4, chemical changes in the structure of the soil. But what's meant by global warming? Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers to the changes in the temperature of the earth. Global warming refers Global warming means increasing the amount of carbon dioxide gas in the air, causing, increasing, and trapping the temperature of the Earth's surface. It makes the temperature and the weather very, very hot. And it's very dangerous because it causes melting of the ice on the Earth and increasing the amount of water which makes flood and covers all cities with water. Also, fossil fuel or burning fossil fuel makes air, water, and soil pollution. Like smoke from cars and factories causes irritation of humans' eyes and lungs and damage of respiratory system. Also, pesticides, which the farmer used to kill all insects that feed on plants, and chemicals from factories lead to water and soil pollution. Now, let's talk about some methods or ways of conserving fossil fuels. How could we save fossil fuels? By reducing or decreasing our consumption of energy, by doing some things such as turning off lights when they are not needed. Number 2, unplugging electrical appliances when not in use. Next, we have walking or using bicycles instead of driving car. We have also, or we should use public means of transportation instead of using our private vehicles. We also could use some renewable energy resources such as hydroelectric energy, which comes from waterfalls and dams, wind energy and solar energy, instead of using fossil fuel to generate electricity. I hope you got this lesson. Thank you for listening.